Sorry, I was muted. Blah, blah,
There we
blah.
go. Yay, I'm thinking, oh dear.
Trisha's having a special moment. So here we have Lois Hermann, and she's going to be talking about inspiration in times of change. So I'm just going to let her take it away. I have read her stuff, and it's like I cannot wait for you to hear you speak. Okay, so take it away, Lois.
Thank you so much, Trish. I only wish that I was in Australia. I have been to 30 countries, and that is high on my list. So someday, once all of this mania calms down, I hope to be there in person.
We've got fingers crossed. 2023, the end of November, we'll be in person, and we can all be like,
yeah, I'll be there. I want to be there so badly.
Sounds
so
good.
Hello from northern New England. I am in New Hampshire, so we're battening down the hatches for the winter here. And you guys are just moving into summertime, right? Or spring?
Yeah, we're all getting flooded out at the moment, so we've just all sitting on our rafts floating along down the river with a beer in our hand.
Okay. There's always something, always something. So I am going to share my screen because I have a lot to share. And I'm going to start here. And this is a PowerPoint presentation from beginning. Can you see my slides? There we go. Can you see the slide?
Yep.
Okay. All right then. So this is Inspiring Hope in Times of Challenge. And you can get me at loishermann.com. My website is loishermann.com. So I want to start by setting sacred space because I always do. I do this every morning, every evening, and every time I start a group. I have a lot of group meetings, but I would like to invite you to set sacred space with me if you wouldn't mind. And I have a really quick version of it, but I'm going to go a little bit in the in-between with you guys today. So I want you to imagine Saint Germain's violet flame keeping us in somewhat of a purpley misty stealth mode. And then we're going to put 4 columns or pillars of light. I invite you to close your eyes and imagine this with me if you'd like. 4 columns, north, south, east, and west, if you so choose, or the corners of your room or building. Let's put 4 more so that you're sitting in the middle of an octagon of light with a foundation of light underneath, a magical dome of light overhead, walls of light connecting everything with a shiny reflective coating that amplifies the positive and deflects the negative, sends it away with positive intention for transformation. And then inside this sacred space, I want you to imagine a beam of light that comes right down over you, filling you with the most glorious, beautiful beam of light all the way down, nose to toes. Breathe it in, expand it out, and chase away anything that you do not wish to have in your sacred space. We're going to put a shungite shield around everything with a high vibrational hum that deflects nefarious energies. And inside our sacred space, we're going to invite our divine protectors of the light, our divine healers of the light, and our divine communicators of the light. And set in the intention that this session, this whole conference, is for the highest good of all who are attending. So thank you. You can softly open your eyes, set for the rest of your day and my evening. So I actually have that recorded, and you can get it free if you subscribe to my newsletter just at loishermann.com. I have that recorded audio video so that you don't have to watch me, you can listen. And there's a reason that I did that. What did I just do? So back to my presentation. Let's go here. Okay. Now, are you still on the PowerPoint? Yes? Yes? PowerPoint slide? Yes. Okay, good. So our world is in a crisis, and oh gosh, you guys know this. We are told that we are at a tipping point for humanity. We're in crisis. So I'm going to go through a little bit of all of this with you today. And my mission is to bring hope to humanity and illuminate the light workers. We were told that Earth's tipping point is coming faster than the collective had predicted. And I'm going to tell you about the collective, who they are, and how this all came to be for me. So think about our world right now with the division, the hate, the anger, all this craziness. And I know from where I sit, I know you guys have been through a whole lot in Australia, and we are going through a lot here, especially with all this crazy election. But what we have to do is somehow ride this through and help our clients to ride this through, because we're in the middle of a battle of good and evil. And we have the ability to hold it together for ourselves and for our clients. So a little bit about my journey. My background is in diagnostic imaging. I started off back in the 70s in ultrasound. I was a pioneer in the field, ended up becoming someone who created ultrasound systems. So I had a fabulous 40-year career in diagnostics. I actually took a job as a systems designer, corporate trainer, fabulous career, traveled internationally. And I also had a lot of issues at home with a very troubled marriage relationship. And that's when I learned hypnosis to help me to get through what I was going through. And I also, when I moved to New England, I moved into a house with a ghost. And my life would never be the same. So in the process of moving into this house, getting through troubling relationship, I ended up learning more about hypnosis. I searched really into the metaphysics, into spirituality, into anything and everything angels, because I invited this priest to come and bless the house, he and who would become my spiritual mentor, Agnes, and they told me, you need to learn how to do this. So I had a conversation with Judy, helped her into the light, and continued on, starting a process of communicating with the unseen world through hypnosis. Fast forward through my 40-year career, I spent a lot of time learning and doing hypnosis on the side. 10 years ago, I left the corporate career when, as the director of clinical services, my vice president said, you need to cut your exam times in half because we need to make more money. And I'm like, I'm not going to sacrifice quality for quantity. I'm out. And I started pursuing my mission, my passion for hypnosis. So I ended up, my very first book that I published was based on helping a series of lost spirits, children, into the light from a big manufacturing mill, where the children, if they were injured, they were used to go in these hydropower equipment. If they were injured, they were exterminated, and the mother would be told that they ran away. So it was a horrific situation. I promised to tell their story, and that's what I did. So my very first book, I had to come out of the closet as a spirit communicator. Even though I've got this corporate background, patents in my name, I say that because when I go down this path of woo, you need to realize that I've got a very, very, very logical mind. So here I am presenting this, getting the spiritual out there, because I consider myself a shipping department. I help the lost souls into the light. That said, I am on a new mission now to bring hope to humanity and illuminate the light workers. So let me tell you a little bit about that. I consider myself a metaphysical hypnotist. I've become an energy expert. Even with my background in diagnostic ultrasound, it's all about frequency and vibration. I also work with negative energies, entities, earthbound spirits, angels, loved ones, all of that. And I'm fascinated by past lives, but I'm going to challenge you, those of you who are interested in past lives, that in my 30-year experience doing this, 90% of the spontaneous past lives that come through are not the clients. Just going to leave that there. I consider myself and my team, we are like spiritual ninjas. We do a lot of work in the unseen world, and we are spiritual warriors. Well, in a very powerful session, goodness, 27 or so years ago, Archangel Michael came through and told me, you must ask for protection first, then healing, then empowerment across all these levels. Now think about this, think about each of these levels. If we had protection, healing, and empowerment across the physical, the mental, the emotional, spiritual, psychic, social, professional, financial, environmental, political, educational, all of that, what kind of world would we be living in? So I've been practicing protection, energy protection for years. Enter this gentleman who was having difficulty sleeping. even though I'm doing spiritual based work, if you want to talk to your angels or your mother that's passed over or grandmother, it's your conversation. I'm the hypnotist. I'm the logician. I'm getting you there, guiding you, protecting you, and taking notes. Gary goes into trance, opens his eyes, looks me in the face and says, we need your help to save humanity. Humanity is facing the next great apocalypse. If they don't change their ways, we may not have much time left. 6 pages of notes later, he comes out of trance. And I said, what did you think of that? He said, it was very relaxing. I'm like, oh my God. He completely channeled this information. So when he comes back, I said, you know, would you mind if I turn a little recording app on my phone, just in case whoever this is comes back? 22 sessions later, we ended up making 3
There will
books.
come a time in the not too distant future when civilization will balance on the edge of survival. The future is not written, but trends can be seen. If humans continue, if they do not learn from their past, they will suffer the same fate as previous civilizations.
Can you imagine hearing this coming through your client? So I took heart and took heed. I invited my consultant to come in, making sure that this guy wasn't pulling my leg, to confirm that whatever was coming through this gentleman named Gary was pure information. This started 6 years ago, long before I started going down rabbit holes. And I was not into politics or anything. I was just thinking, what the heck are they talking about? Well, these ones, the Unquietists, tell us that the world holds a lot of despair. And a message of hope is all that most people need to hear and act on. So we are dealing with a battle of good and evil. Let's talk about spiritual energy, because we are more than meets the eye. So many of you have heard of Dr. Emoto's water experiment, where he took water and put them in beakers and prayed over them or said hate at them. Then he looked at them under electron microscope and had all these different beautiful crystals for the love and the hope. And then under the hate and anger, it was different. It was muddy, mucky. What are we? We are 90-something% water. When we say this stuff to ourselves, anger, hate, fear, it shifts our molecular structure. The same thing if you were to do Carillion photography, looking at fruit, it vibrates. The energy of crystals, how many of you use crystals? And if you were to hold a crystal, you can feel it. Some of you are really into feeling the energy of crystals. And then also if you're doing Reiki, you use symbols. Symbols have meaning. We use all of that because it's all about vibrational frequency. Mother Gaia in this series tells us, my consciousness is not an individual thing. I am the sum of the consciousnesses of all living things on the planet, all living things, not just humans. Everything that lives is part of me, Mother Gaia, the spirit of Earth. Because guess what? We are energy generators. We are the most exquisite energy generators. And that can be seen by looking at the auras, that aura, the toroidal field around us. That's our true self. That is our aura. That is who we really are. Then the chakras, the energy centers, and this just shows the 7 major chakras that we need to keep in alignment. And then there's, if you were to look at a human with Carillion photography, you would see the magnetic energy that we are. We are energy sources. And negative influencers such as fear, hate, guilt, anger limit humans. And there are more negative influencers than positive in number, we are told. So as multidimensional beings, we are the physical. This is the body that we wear, the skin suit that drives us each new lifetime. But the mental, intellectual, that is our creative mind. That is what we need to engage. Part of that can traverse through lifetimes. How many of you have known of children who are able to come through, young children are playing a violin, playing a piano, have knowledge, wisdom that they bring with them from prior lives? The emotional is also memories that get stuck from lifetimes. Many of you who do work with past lives, notice that that emotion comes through. And that's why we would do a past life, is to help to heal a past life memory. And then there's the spiritual. That is the eternal being. That is our auric field. The spiritual traverses every life, every experience. We truly are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the uncreatus, who were the ones that came through Gary, told us it's a question of vibrational level. There's an accepted normal vibrational level for human life, as there is for any life on any planet of intelligent life. So how many of you have seen this Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins? I love this book. It's old. It's a very didactic book. But what he has done is he has quantified the energy of emotions on a logarithmic scale from 0 to 1,000, with 1,000 being enlightenment, Christ consciousness. The lowest level energy, guilt and shame. What are we being bombarded with in our world today? Guilt, shame, fear. Our clients are all down in that anger, fear realm. And what we have to do is help them, help to shift them up to a higher level of awareness. Because the collective says there is a lot of despair in the world today, and there are so many people in need of hope that they will believe the wrong message as well as the right message. You must get the message of hope out to people, because there is a mind-body energy connection. I know as hypnotists, we use a lot of mind and body, but there's also the mind-body spirit connection. I do a kinesiology exercise, and I don't have time to show it here. I do have a YouTube of it, where have you ever done the kinesiology where you muscle test someone and you have them say their name and it's the wrong name and they go weak? You say their real name and they're strong. The same thing, if they think a happy, happy thought, their body is strong. If they think a mad, sad, angry thought, the body goes weak. If we mess with the vibrational energy of the body goes weak. So we are energetic beings, and we are being affected on all of these levels. So when we're working with clients, we have to help them on all levels to affect a holistic change for all levels of the being. Because fear causes sickness to humans. To be healthy, humans must drink in the light or maintain positive energy. What they tell us is humans are out of balance. There's a lot of emotional energy feeders that feed on our energy. There are low-level energies, earthbound spirits, nasties, I just call them nasties, young souls who are causing a lot of disturbance. We also have identified implants and just general fear. There's too much negative. That's what we're dealing with our clients, with ourselves, with everyone around us. These low-level entities attached to our clients, they're from other dimensions, feed on energy, and they're not necessarily evil, although there are some that are, yet they drain people's energy and create emotional imbalance, and they can cause physical distress. So when we do energy clearings, we look at the aura. So when somebody is unbalanced, we'll notice the energy is shifted, or it's a different color. Red is typically a color of anger or distress. We also can tell if there's an attachment, a spirit around, or other types of energy. Bear in mind, we've been doing this for years, and mostly the client can go into trance. It's a light state of trance. They look at a mirror and they're able to see what color their aura is. I've been doing this for years. That's been my norm. Bear that in mind as I bring you down to today in a moment. When a human damages its spirit, either through lack of understanding that it's an immortal being or simply by not caring, it's difficult for that spirit to raise its vibrational level necessary to go into the light, or what is called, what we might refer to as heaven. So how many of you have seen the movie Ghost? That is actually fairly accurate. He does not go into the light because he's going to stick around to see what happened to her. So what we encounter in these auric fields are spirits that have not gone into the light, like Judy when I moved into the house. It was a simple woman who didn't want to leave her daughter. She killed herself. She shot herself in the head in my basement because of abuse. And when we helped her into the light, my daughter no longer could hear her or see her singing to her at night. So I have learned how to help these. This is like helping a child lost in the woods or in a department store. This is not about be gone. This is about how may I be of service to you. However, we are told, make no mistake, there are spirits which do not have the best interest of corporeal life in mind. And a lot of times it's hard to tell the difference. So we have to identify the spirit, help them into the light, replace them with someone of the light, a spirit of the light, based on the client's belief system. If they're a Christian, they might call for Jesus. If there's someone who is, they could be calling for Lady Nada. If they're more in the Hindu religion, there's a lot of different beings of the light that can be called. Some people call for Tesla, and he's pretty amazing. What we have to do is clear the negative entities, remove energy interference, and boost the positive and balance the chakras. I call it daily spiritual hygiene. So after we've done that with clients, and we teach them how to keep their energy strong, and they say, you have to do this every day. I said, well, you don't have to brush your teeth every day, but you kind of want to, don't you? Because if we don't protect our energy, we're picking up gunk from the ethers that we can't see. We can't see electricity, but that doesn't mean it's not there. So there's a lot of stuff in that unseen world that we as hypnotists can help our clients to identify. So I started, and I have an online didactic training program that is designed specifically for hypnotists and other metaphysical, spiritual-minded teachers to learn how to clear your client's energy. It's a 40-hour online program. It starts in February. It's a didactic-based program that is really powerful to help teach other people how to clear, how to differentiate between a past life of the client and a past life of the spirit, because the spirit that comes through wants to have their story told. And once you help them safely into the light and you clear all the spirits from around the client, then you can do true past life assistance for that client. So we're basically energy clearing experts. We help the spirits, the lost ones, into the light. We also remove, there's a lot of negative energies that are around the client that are not necessarily spirits, but there's a lot of things that we're picking up in our world. And we need to learn how to stay grounded ourselves, to keep our resonant frequency high, to stay healthy. I'm at the tail end of a cold. I'm preaching to myself here because we have gotten so busy with clearing these energies that I have not taken a break in months. And my body is saying, time to push pause. As we begin to question everything and develop our own sense of knowing, clarity will be revealed. So what can we do? What can we do? We need to keep ourselves inspired, our energy cleared, and then teach others how to do this. So in this process, this guide that came through in these channeled sessions, Aurora, the goddess of the dawn, said the message that we have is important and you have to get it out there quickly. Humanity does not realize how little time it has left. You've got to, there was a sense of urgency. So we ended up creating 3 books. The first book we published in 2018. Second one, that was the On Quietus, the Ancient Ones. The second book we published in 2020 with the collective. And by then I'm like, oh my goodness, this is really happening now. I was thinking that these messages were going to come like 50 years in the future. Holy cannoli, it's happening now. And then the third book, The Archangels, was published this past August. They like the August timeframe because they like 8s. They're all about 8s. So what the On Quietus tell us is hope raises vibrational energy. The more hope we have, the higher the energy rises, and people need to win to feel good. People have stopped trying and given up hope. A lot of people say, oh, it's just hopium. But you know what? You can't go from fear to joy overnight. Hope is the bridge. If you can give your clients hope by future pacing them, by helping them to see what could be, it is a bridge to help them get to a place of joy. So the On Quietus in book 1 basically gave us a roadmap for hope. Honoring the earth, caring for the body, creating with joy, raising our energy, know that there's plenty, and respect each other. So people must choose a path they can walk. There are too many people saying that they are the only ones who know the way. The best way is to follow your heart. Subsequent sessions, the guide said, if someone tells you theirs is the only way, walk away. Everyone has their own way, their connection, their way, their path. Honoring the earth is about respecting Gaia, getting back, connecting with nature. Many of our clients are empaths. They're picking up on all this energy. They need to get out and touch base with Mother Gaia, ground, feet to the soil, touch a tree, dig, watch the birds. Just the act of looking up will shift the energy into an upward energy. It absolutely shifts from that depressed, compressed energy. Looking up, get them to shift. Honor all living things. And care for our body. We've got to take care. We've got to make healthy choices. Drink the healthy alkalized water. Be cautious of toxic exposure. I'm going to go into some stuff about that in a minute. We've got to sleep soundly. We help all of our clients with this. These are the tools that we can help our clients to succeed, because our bodies are treasures. The only one we're going to get new cars, but this is the only body we're going to drive in this lifetime anyway. Create, create, create. Our mind thrives on creativity. Instead of getting compressed and feeling I can't, encourage, stimulate your clients, stimulate their mind, do what they can't not to do. Find something that they love to do and just do it. This way, as they grow, as they continue, they're able to share what they know. And in the sharing comes even more learning. And it's sparking that creative energy is critical. Be who you are because it is who you are, not because it's what you've been told to be or because it's something you believe you should be. This is where that self-actualization comes into play. Who are you? Who do you choose to be? And that's what's about raising this vibrational energy. A lot of people have thrown away prayer. Prayer is as simple as a walk in the woods, saying thank you for this beautiful sunrise, playing with your cats, asking. The guides that have come through have said time and time again, you must ask. Find a way to remember joy. Think of things that give you joy. And have respect for one another. Truth, honesty, and integrity is the foundations of a healthy civilization. Do what you do because it's the right thing to do, not because of what you'll get for it. And know there is plenty. Unfortunately, in our planet right now, there are a small percentage of the people who have most of the resources. We're hoping that that's going to change. But what we can give a smile, we can give a hug, we can give a word of kindness, give what we can. How can I help? And how can I be grateful for what I have? The more gratitude I have for what I have, the more it multiplies. Ethics and morality are what drive a civilization, define a civilization, not what the civilization can produce. So when we come from a place of kindness and compassion and connection with others, it will make a difference. We will shift the vibrational energy. It's not why we're here that's important. It is what we do when we are here that has all the value. So we decided to
Our intention is to transform the darkness pervading society by releasing the existing hate, anger, fear, greed, and despair. We bring you encouraging words of hope for humanity. We bring guidance for how to live your lives, staying positive. If you want to put the world in a positive, healing place, remember this. The act of wanting something generates feelings of want, which is negative, adding to the problem. Believe positively that things are better or are on the road to improvement. This thinking creates positive energy. There is a difference between wanting, believing, and knowing. Knowing is the best, the strongest. Do uplifting activities and simple things that create joy in your life. and think positive, grateful, and hopeful thoughts while doing them.
We were able to do an audio book for book 1, so that's what some of these recordings are from. Someday I'll get around to doing that for book 2 and 3. But we started a community where we're supporting one another. You can reach all of this through the websites. One of the things that the Anquitas said is when people are being helpful to others, they generate and broadcast a lot of energy. It makes them shine very brightly, and the energy feeders are attracted to that energy. Also, the lost souls that are looking for the light are attracted to that bright energy. That's why a lot of people have spirits around them, especially the ones that are glowing so brightly. And what they say is the empaths, the energy workers, and everyone seeking spiritual healing needs to use a form of energy shielding for protection. This goes back to the priest that taught me how to protect many years ago. So there are many ways to protect your energy. One way is to establish a shield around yourselves of a very high level vibrational rate that will keep any type of energy feeder away. And the best way is to imagine a thick-walled, malleable soap bubble surrounding your body, your car, your home, your child. I bubbled my children as they go off to school. So spiritual hygiene, we want to glow like in that exercise that we did, glow from within to push out anything negative, and stand in a magical waterfall of light to clear anything that doesn't belong in your energy. Balance your chakras. We're finding a lot of people that chakras are stuck. Then wrap yourself in your bubble with a silver sheen. And the violet flame from Saint Germain puts us in somewhat of a stealth mode. I tell my clients, this is not about being perfect, but practice makes permanent, not perfect. And the important thing is to get people to listen. The message has to be delivered in a way not just they will understand, but in a way that they will hopefully accept. Jesus came through in the second book, and this second book gave us the guidelines for living. In the Chronicles of Hope, the collective, this is more about healing. The first book was all about protection and the different energies and also the history of our planet. The second book, these were the beings that were closer to us, and they came through and gave us specific things to keep our energy positive and uplifting. So the god Ray from Atlantis, that was a fascinating discussion with him. If you find a way to emphasize the positive, you'll go a long way toward making the world a much better place. They're all about shifting the energy to be more positive. This god Ray said, be respectful, encourage truth, honesty, and integrity, because Atlantis went down because they were trying to push the envelope with crystals. But what they've said is, we have gotten way too far into technology. We've got to get back to really honoring truth and honesty. When Jesus came through, he was wringing his hands. What happened to my simple message to do unto others? He was very disappointed that people had hijacked his words and used them for their own self-serving. He says it's the desire to enforce what you believe on someone else that generates the conflict. Isn't that what's happening in our world today? People who are forcing something on someone else instead of being accepting to one another. The goddess Aurora came through, and oh my goodness, these guys, I wrote the book because I have a background in A Course in Miracles. I was a teacher in A Course in Miracles, a facilitator for probably 20 years. So the books are written as study guides. I'm just giving you a sample, a snippet of what they told me, because I really feel strongly that I need to share what I have learned from them. Walking away from anger, pause to reflect before taking an action. It is critical because humanity has a simple choice. We either need to learn together, to live together, or we face extinction. We've got to change our attitude, our way. Archangel Samael says, be strong. He is the angel that is of challenge and growth. So we need to have that. He says, we don't grow unless we are pushed to grow. So realize that those of us that have been through challenging lives, it's an opportunity to grow and to be who we are supposed to be. He tells us love requires self-sacrifice. Hate does not. Hate puts blame on everyone else. When you love, you take personal responsibility for what you do, for what you believe. And a lot of people aren't ready to accept that responsibility. Universal energy came through telling us we're all one species. We've got to really realize and come together as one. Because with true communication comes a realization that the differences are not so great between us, and thus hatred dissipates. We're coming upon a time where we've got to embrace a lot of these messages now. Mother Gaia came through it saying, I can heal this planet if only you guys would let me. You keep destroying. We've got to get back to being conscious stewards of our planet. And they all speak of returning to our native culture of living with the planet, living with our resources. Some people don't even stop to think, is what I'm doing going to affect my children and their children? They're so wrapped up in themselves that they don't even care about their own families. We need to care about the future. And what she said is, voices of the people who do more harm than good seem to be heard more clearly. You need to make the voice of the people who do more good known. They need to be heard. There are more good people than there are bad. So I started a good news radio show 3 years ago, and I highlighted, if someone wants to be on my radio show, it's a call-in show. And I love spotlighting the good people. We have so many amazing people, and I love to spotlight the amazing people, because where there's hope, there's faith. And where there's faith, miracles happen. We've got to believe in miracles. And yet, the more you think you know, the less likely you're able to learn. When you understand how little you know, the more willing you are to accept new information. So we developed a Lightworker Alliance about 2.5 years ago, where we got together our mastermind team. We've been clearing the planet of negative energy. And in the process, we have developed a really cohesive group that can go in and look at the energy in any body, anywhere. But what we discovered, it's necessary to expand people's minds, because providing them with simple facts won't do that. In fact, that could close them down. What we discovered in 2021, the auras were different. All of a sudden, my clients could no longer see their aura. Their pineal was blocked, their third eye was blocked, the auras were all muddy, mucky orange. What the flip is going on here? And we started really investigating with our guides that there were metallic flecks and spots and streaks and bots and hydras and all kinds of stuff in the auras. And it didn't matter whether you were vaxxed or not. It's coming from the chemtrails. It's coming from transmission. It's coming in our food, our water. There's all this gunk that's coming into our auras. And what can we do to change it? So we were given specific tools to clear the aura, to clear it by a magnetic swirling up the spiral, a spiral of energy. That's another technique that I teach. And to have a shower of light, a magnetic net. I go into each one of these in depth. I don't have enough time to teach you now, but I need to let people know that a lot of what we're dealing with is being shed. Stuff that's going on in our energy field is very, very real. So what we have to do is maintain balanced energy by clearing our chakras, our energy centers on a regular basis. We developed a whole process where I actually have a consultant looking at people's energies and clearing their auras for them. And in the process, we're discovering all these entities and also implants and other types of very strange devices being placed in people. And I know this sounds really out there and strange, but hey, welcome to my crazy world. What we learned is we needed to teach the brightest lights how to keep themselves protected. So we developed an 8-hour self-modular training program. It's priced at $22. This is inexpensive, but my mission is to teach people how to clear their aura, clear their energy, keep their energy strong, because that's how we are going to keep our health. That's how we're going to keep our health and our clients' health and our children and our pets. It's everywhere. Because people need to choose a path that promotes harmony as opposed to a path that promotes conflict. We've got to do what we can to shift our energy. So the third book gave us a path for empowerment. This is from the archangels. Now, let me tell you something. The archangels were not featherweights. They came through wagging their finger at me, saying that you have allowed your world to get in the situation it is. It is up to you to shift the energy. We can give you help and we can answer your questions, but it's ultimately your task. It's your path to walk. You need to step up. We can hear your call for help, but humanity's fate rests in its own hands. We each need to do what we can to expand the consciousness. They even went on to say that there's great political unrest in your nation. The time is now to step up. So these different angels and archangels gave us all kinds of insight and information. And I'm going to just kind of blast through these. Archangel Michael, he is always here. I have such a relationship with him now that I hear him, I sense him, I know him. But each one of these gave us powerful, powerful information. And the best thing you can do, he even talked about bringing back the beliefs and the customs of the native cultures. And Archangel Samuel, we give you words that we hope will convey the proper message in a way that we hope you'll understand, in a way that we hope you'll honor. Because you are creators. You decide what your lives are going to be. You decide what your world is going to look like. It's not up to anyone else, and you need to take your world back. You need to reclaim your world, empowering your clients. Archangel Raphael, the great archangel of healing, says you can ask any of us for help at any time. One of the things that he said is it's important to know that healers don't heal, they facilitate the healing. Every living thing knows its own blueprint, even if it's not consciously aware of it. So when we're working with the client, we're sending them energy and we're empowering them to heal themselves. And then we have each other, finding your team, finding your tribe, being happy, being grateful, and really connecting with one another. Because as we break down the barriers between individuals, we experience each other's thoughts. We really, really connect. One last thought before I leave is that we discovered over the past little while when we started asking questions that we're finding these star seeds, these amazing beings who are hypersensitive, who are blocked. And as we're helping them, we are finding that they're under attack by a lot of nasty, nefarious energies. And we are able, as a team, to release and remove these devices, curses, energies. But we work as a team with our guides. They do the work. We're simple humans asking. What they say is you must ask. Ask for assistance to absolutely block and deflect any spells, castings, or intentions that would block, prevent, distort, or derail your mission from completing its manifestation. We were dealing with some major blockage in producing these books because the shadow side did not want them out there. There's something in here that they did not want out. So once we get these star seeds cleared, we are connecting them with these amazing, amazing ancient ones, and it is just so beautiful. We are so honored and blessed to be able to do this work. Everyone needs to do what needs to be done to save humanity, and that's going to be different for each person depending on their resources and their abilities, each of us. So how does that impact you? How does it impact me? What is one thing that I can do? How can I make a difference? Because each of us has our own recipe for what drives us, what we can do. No two snowflakes are alike. Starting a trend which is beneficial is worth doing, even if the results are not obvious until several generations later. We've got to start now. So we do a lot of the energy clearing. We also do distance Reiki with the ECA, the energy clearing and massage. All of this, you can find it at loishermann.com. And Raphael says, you must never lose faith because we will never lose faith in you. So thank you. Got through all of those. Archangel Michael says, I am always here for you. So do I have time for questions? I know that was like fast speed.
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but my brain just went. So if you have any questions, please pop them quickly into the chat now, because we do have Pierre from Canada popping in next with Hypno Dream Analysis. But
nice.
if you think of any questions that you have later on and they just pop into your head, feel free to email me or email Lois, and we're always happy to pass them on to create a connected community. Okay, guys? So if you have any questions, Rebecca is buzzing right now because she just like is vibrating full mode right now. So Rebecca, if you have any questions, pop unmute yourself and go nuts. So you've got a minute or two. Okay. So no questions.
Where can you get an energy clearing from the team you speak of? You can go to our website, you schedule it yourself. Everything, I do everything online. When COVID happened, I closed down my 3-room suite and moved home. I do everything via Zoom. And it's beautiful because we're seeing clients all over the world. I actually just had a client this week from Australia. The time zone's a little wonky, but we do it as a team. I have my consultant on and I'm on and the client is on. They're reading the energy. They're more empaths and they're able to read the energy, and we clear them together with the client and teach the client how to clear themselves.
Oh, sorry, I wrote that wrong. Don't click that one. I spelled it wrong.
Can you speak to whom you found past lives belong to? So the past lives are the past lives of spirits around. They want their story told. And so once we help the spirit safely into the light, then we can find their past lives. I have past life recall of at least 50 snippets of 50 of my past lives. So past lives, I love past lives, but what you have to recognize is many of these really tragic, traumatic past lives are not that of your client. That's a spirit that wants to have their story told. So the goal is to help the spirit safely into the light. And then the other really important thing is nature will fill a vacuum. You've got to bring a spirit from the light into to fill the void. And I'm going to give you a very important, what I call a 3-part check, 3-step check. I've had clients say, oh, well, my grandmother is my guardian angel, but she's kind of grumpy. Just because she's died does not make her an angel, okay? So if somebody's grumpy in their real life, and maybe they were not in a positive place, we're also finding that a lot of people, and I'm just going to say this, that have had some of these different distortions from their pineal, we're finding a lot more people that are not in the light right now that we're having to help in the light. So we do a lot of rescue mission work, helping the lost souls. And so what you have to do is double check, look to their eyes. And also had people say, oh, it's Jesus. Look to his eyes. Oh, they're red, they're mean. That ain't Jesus, guys. So look to his eyes. Are they warm, cold, or indifferent? What is the quality of his touch? Warm, cold, or indifferent? Is he happy to see you? So if the spirit comes, it's an angel, it's Jesus, it's whomever, it's Mary, whatever their belief system is, white tiger, they can fake the eyes, they can fake the touch, but they can't fake happy. If it's an imposter spirit, they're not happy. So what you have to do is wrap them in light and keep calling. I teach all of this in depth with scripts and everything in the training program.
Beautiful. And Eva Goulet is on tomorrow, and she's talking about all this sort of stuff when they're kids. So it's all niched down to kids. So thank you so much, Lois. We do have to trundle on to the next one.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you for having me. Enjoy the conference. Enjoy.
And we will catch you in the future. Okay, darling?
Yes, absolutely. Bye-bye.